Wink News real estate expert Denny Grimes. He's in the studio with what you should do in this situation. It is so very common. You need to move, want to move, but you can't get the horse before the cart, I guess.
Yeah,
the cart
exactly.
before the horse.
Well, I have never seen more activity like this ever before, and I think the reason is there's a lot of sellers out there who want to buy that next home, that newer home, and they're watching prices go up and they're panicking, so they're out there shopping, and they really can't buy until they sell their own home. And so it's like going into Bass Pro Outlet with no money in your pocket.
Yeah, you're frustrated. You can't shop.
That's the definition of frustration, is have no money. And the sad thing, even this morning, I have very little good news to tell people like that other than to get your home sold. But there are some options out there. If they're going to go down that road, then I'm going to have a little warning to the sellers if they see these types of offers coming their way.
You can try these things you suggest, but they may or may not work. They may not be in your favor.
That's right. You know, you can play with a hand grenade, but there are risks involved. So the first thing a buyer should do, regardless of what state they're in, is talk to a local lender and get pre-qualified. Now, particularly somebody who has to sell their house, because they may be able to buy the house and not sell their home. Until they talk to the lender, they won't know. Or another option is they may be able to rent their house out and buy another house. So that opens up another list of options.
Gives
that
you
are
a
positive.
pathway.
Absolutely. But short of them, if they can't afford two houses, here are the options they employ. Number one is they'll go and they'll attempt to make an offer contingent upon the sale of their home. Now that's just all around, basically that's like going to the manager of Bass Pro Outlet and say, look, you only have one flats boat, please hold it while I go get some money. And growing up, that used to be called layaway. Layaway doesn't exist anymore in retail, and it doesn't exist in real estate.
Right.
So but a message to sellers is I can think of no good option, no good reason to ever consider that offer a home sale contingency.
You also mentioned a right of refusal. What is this option?
Well, that's the same option as number one with powdered sugar on it, because basically they're saying, I'll tell you what, Mr. and Ms. Seller, I can't buy your house until I sell mine. Go ahead, you can keep your home on the market. If you get a better offer, call and tell me first. Well, the problem is if it's an MLS, it has to go into a pending status, which means for buyers it's not active, which means no one's going to look at it. So sellers are sitting on their hands. So it's the same as option one.
You're kind of stuck.
You're stuck.
You're not in a good spot anymore as the seller.
And the other option is basically go and have a solid offer, non-contingent offer, and have a big deposit and a delayed closing. But that's risky too, because you could lose your money and the seller could be at closing and not sell their house, and it becomes a problem for everybody.
Oh boy, so it's not very good. Your options aren't great on either side. So what do you do?
Well, the best thing to do is do whatever you need to do to get your home sold. And once you have it under contract, now you become a legitimate buyer. You don't have your money yet, but now you go shopping, looking for a home, and make an offer contingent upon your home closing. Not only is that more palatable to the seller, but it's a lot less risky for the buyer. And a lot of those deals go through.
Yeah, contingent upon closing is different than selling.
Absolutely, because at least there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And the seller may deal with that. It's no different than a financing contingency. So that's the best recommendation.
I guess you got to tough it out and get those homes sold. But the market's good, so the activity should be there.
If you're not selling, it's probably a pricing issue.
All right, thank you, Denny. Good advice as always.